Hi, it's Kev. I hope you're looking forward to the next episode of Keeping Up with KJ on the podcast show. It's a special guest with me today to discuss solar. This is Kieran from KMM. We'll be discussing everything solar. Stay tuned to the very end for a special bonus video of me and Shah on an afternoon together in Nottingham. The highlight, which will probably be the highlight for you, was a bit of singing on the karaoke and a bit of dancing, executed very poorly. So it's one for you guys to enjoy. Please like and subscribe and give us any comments. Enjoy the show.
Hiya, I'm Kev. This is Keeping Up with KJ, episode 2 podcast. So today I've got here with me is Kieran from KMM.
Hi guys.
He's an expert in the field of solar. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be picking apart solar and finding everything out about solar. We've also got our challenges ahead, obviously the competition prizes from last episode, which were the hats, and then we've also got the mugs for this episode's competitions. So where I wanted to start, obviously, as a company, we're just going into solar, and we've gone into partnership with Kieran. So I've been doing spending some time with him in the field, learning all about everything he knows, picking his brains. And what he's going to do today is just going to do an introduction to him and how he got into solar and his company. And then we're going to ask him some questions, which is going to help you, the consumer, if you look to invest into solar panels yourself. So, Kieran, how did it all start?
Yeah, mate. Well, it's quite funny how life goes around in circles. I was born off grid in Australia 34 years ago. My mum was one of the first people in Australia to have solar. And back then it was considered a little bit hippie, a little bit weird.
Yeah.
No mains water, no mains sewage, no mains power. And now everyone's obviously trying to do it themselves. So
Absolutely.
when I came over to the UK, I'd just finished a couple of years working in the forestry. So I've always sort of had that environmental background. And over here, you just pay so much on your bills. So the numbers are so good. And I think a lot of people in our industry are skeptical. So I think I quite enjoy the education on both the consumer and also, like yourself, mate, I love helping people that are coming into the industry.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a big difference between people that know what they're talking about and people that don't. I always say a lot of electricians can just bang in solar, but can they get the best return on investment for the customer? And that's what I'm sort of passionate about, which is why I love working with people like yourself, Kev, to understand how to survey and yeah, just do things that are best for the customer rather than the business.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Get that customer experience. We're highly experienced. We're doing it with the boilers, so that's why we've gone into the new verticals with the heat pumps and solar. Also, obviously, the aircon and bathroom suites. So obviously,
You're pretty well rounded, Kev.
yeah, well, that's what you need to be. We want to be a one-stop shop, really, if we can. Even if it's something what we don't cover, we'd like you to come to us and just if we can lead you the right directions. I've been in the trade an awful long time, and I know a lot of good tradesmen. So I do know how difficult it can be to get a tradesman to come in and fix any issues you have at home.
Yeah, well, I think in solar, the advantage should be that electrics are a lot more mainstream with how they're applied. Yeah, it's not always the case, but I do believe that with plumbing more so, there's lots of different ways to skin the same cat.
Yeah.
And then that must be the harder part. So I think with solar, the numbers and the way to survey it are actually quite easy if you understand them.
Yeah.
And allows you to do, I think, a better job on day one that can last a long period of time.
Yeah.
And that's the advantage of solar, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's there for a long time, very low maintenance.
So how did you actually, so obviously you were brought up in Australia when you came over to the UK. Did you jump straight into solar or did you do anything else before?
Yeah, so before that, I worked in Australia when I was at university for a promotions company. So I traveled around the UK, working in a lot of universities and shopping centres, doing promotions. So that's cool for me when I first came over. But it was never going to be a career, it just allowed me to do a lot of travelling and obviously
Just
enjoy
stepping
myself.
stones, yeah.
Yeah,
As we all do.
so when I decided to go into solar, I wanted to do something for a career. And I worked for the largest domestic installer project solar. And it taught me a lot of good and bad things about the industry. Overall, I'd say they are a good company, but they are quite highly priced and they purely just try and achieve their own company's goals, not the customer's goals. And the reason we set up our own company is, I believe, if you achieve the customer's goals, and you look after the customer, no business gets paid by the business.
Absolutely.
We all get paid by the customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why we're really focused on giving that experience.
Yeah.
And we've got a decent team now, and we're really passionate about making a positive difference in not only the customers but also the industry.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's good to hear. Like so, I like where you start. You start with a big company. I sort of did the same. It was a big company what I originally did my apprenticeship with.
But earn your stripes, don't you?
Yeah, you got to learn your stripes by the guys who've been there and done it for the years. So any apprentices like looking into getting into any trades, do look to the bigger companies. Don't be shy about asking.
Yeah.
The bigger companies for
They're big for a reason.
They're big for a reason. Yeah,
They do a lot of things right. We've learned a lot of things from them.
absolutely.
But we've also learned not what to do. And I think if you complain about it for too long, then you should just do it better yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So we have a few questions for you, Kieran, if you don't mind us asking.
Yeah, no dramas, mate.
First one would be how much would solar be expected to cost on an average family home?
It's a great question, Kev. I would, everyone asks that one. They want that instant ballpark figure, don't they?
Yeah.
And, we try not to be too vague in this answer, but there are a lot of factors. And there's a reason why I'd always recommend that you get an in-person survey to answer this question.
Absolutely.
Because my answer, which I will cover now, might leave you with more questions than answers. And that's how it should be, really, because our job is about education. So it depends on a few factors. Most importantly, what your bill is. If you base it on the actual data, then it gives you a really good map of what they're using at the moment. So you might put in a system that's great for the moment, but then also what are their future goals?
Yeah.
And if you ever get a survey from anyone that doesn't look at your bill or doesn't come around to the house, how are they going to be able to know the ins and outs of your house, and how are they even going to know what you need the solar for?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I would say if you wanted a ballpark figure, 10 to 15 grand is quite normal for solar with a battery.
Yeah.
You get under 10 grand if you're just after solar only, which I'd probably say only about 5 to 10% of our jobs are solar only on the domestic market. Batteries have come a long way now.
The batteries is the key thing, really, isn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, it's a grid trade. Like if you've got a good roof and you can sell it high and buy it low, like on my property, I sell it at 16.5p all day, buy it in at 6.7p on every single day. All right, so I'm selling it at 2.2 times higher than I'm buying it in. And that allows me the credits in those summer months. Looks brilliant by about September, October.
Yeah.
And I use those to get through the winter bill, and I pay off my whole gas bill.
So you left with pretty much no bill then?
I make about 100 to 200 quid a year off my roof after all my bills are covered.
Perfect.
So, and that's just from, in between 10 to 15 grand investment.
Yeah.
So
basically, instead of having a bill, like majority of us have, get paid.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, quite often for the first few years, nothing's going to change. But it's the reason why we buy houses instead of rent them.
Yeah.
If you rent a house for 5 years, what do you have at the end of 5 years?
Nothing.
Well, you got a bigger bill.
Yeah.
Bill's gone up. So if you're going to spend the same money in, for example, 5 to 10 years, but never get it back, you might as well put it into your house. It's the reason why people buy things for their house.
Yeah.
They do up the back garden, they do up the garage, they do up the bedrooms. The whole idea is obviously, yes, you get the benefit in the short term, but also adds value to your house.
Yeah.
And there's loads of articles out there, and we work with new build developers. I know I speak to you about it, Kev. It winds me up when you see those 2 to 4 panels on a big roof.
Yeah.
Loads of room to put more on, but they get an 8 to 10% increase in the property value. So you actually get the money back on day one.
Yeah.
And then you get free electric till you move.
Right. Okay. So obviously, you see with the new builds of 2 to 3 panels, it's not really cutting it, is it? As from what I'm.
It's a box ticking operation. Everyone thinks that that's the right thing to do, but they're only trying to put the minimum amount of investment in to get the maximum amount of return on the property value, which, that's why I'd actually rather buy a property that has nothing on it.
Yeah.
Because then
Do it properly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if say it's in-roof panels, a lot of these new builds have in-roof panels.
Yeah.
So to do the extra work, to take that roof apart to add to the in-roof panels, you're going to be looking at a few grand just to upgrade the roof, which you're not going to spend, are you?
Yeah. So it's one of those, isn't it? I think if you got a house, what was a certain age as well, and you're looking to change the roof, it's probably worth changing rather than just having the roof changed, having solar as well. So you're 2 jobs in one.
100%. Yeah, we do it as one of our USPs. There's 0% VAT on a renewable installation. Right. So if you get a roof for 20, 30 grand, for example, you're going to spend 4 to 6 grand on VAT. You might as well spend that on solar.
Yeah.
Then you get a roof that not only keeps the rain out, but powers your house for decades to come.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah. So I know that's not the best answer on how how much the system is. But I mean, we did a system removal the other day for $2,000. So she just wanted it gone because the company had come in. It was terribly done. She had a bad experience.
Yeah.
So we just removed the system. It was a rental, and they had to do roof repairs and everything from the pigeons.
Right.
So that's like $2,000, and then we do some domestic systems, $50,000, and these are like massive houses, ground mounts, big batteries. So might seem like a lot of money, but it's only the money that they're spending with their energy company anyway. So you just rob Peter to pay Paul.
Right. Okay. So obviously, adding on to the how long would it take to get an investment back on your solar? Does it matter to obviously if you have finance or things like that? Is there some sort of calculations what we can do?
Yeah.
So we can let customers know in house what how long it'd take for them to start making money off that investment.
Well, like I said, you get the money back on day one. Your house value's gone up. Obviously, that's only a factor if you're selling.
Yeah.
But I think, 5 to 10 years is quite normal on a domestic property. The higher the bills, the bigger the roof, the faster you get your money back.
Yeah.
So that's a real quick way to describe it. On commercial, you're looking at 2 to 5 years is normal. A lot of people get obsessed with this payback time, but it's all based on, we based on the Office of National Statistics, 7% a year between 2000 and 2021. We can't use the last 3 years because obviously the bills went up 300%, came down 190. It makes the figures look, inflated. But what's to say that won't happen again? So if bills go up 14%, not 7%, and you've got an 8-year payback, then you'll get the money back in 4 years, not 8. So don't get too obsessed with the payback time.
No.
When the bills go up, you just know when you wake up the next day, your roof's making you more money than it did before.
Exactly, and especially obviously with rising energy prices as well. I do actually have something to do with an energy company, and when I got involved with them just before COVID, so about 5 years ago, they told me to expect the prices to double within the next 10 years. Oh, I don't know. COVID accelerated that.
They already did.
Couple of other things. They went up in about the space of 3-4 years. So their projection back then was that we'd be paying in 30 years 25 grand a year for his energy bills, and in 25, 30 years. Well, if that's moved that early, that quick, then it's going to just keep going up and up and up, I think, and it's probably time to act and get this renewable energy on your house, as in the form of solar.
It's the easiest thing to do, because a lot of people think with all this renewable energy, these solar farms and wind turbines, they're expecting this price to drop all of a sudden. But the UK only own about 25% of the energy produced in the UK.
Yeah.
So the problem is it's all sold off. Quite often it's built by the French, funded by the Chinese. It doesn't make the energy any cheaper, because guess who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
It's going to be the taxpayers. You can't tell the businesses what to charge.
No, exactly.
So I think a really good way to look at it, and from who I've spoken in the industry, I actually think electricity prices are going to stay, they're not going to increase massively over the next 5 years, but it's going to be gas and oil that's going to go up.
Yeah.
Because as they're trying to phase out gas and oil, guess what the best way to phase out? Hurt you in your pocket.
Put the price up.
So what happens if you get a system installed now and it takes 5 years to pay back, you're going to be perfectly positioned for when that price goes up. Because if these energy companies don't make money off gas and oil, like they are at the moment, and it's going down every year, less and less and less, where do you think they're going to make the money from?
Yeah, exactly. So,
it's going to be on the electric.
Yeah. Next question for you. Do I need planning permission to install solar on my property?
It's a great question, Kev. Most cases, no. It's a permitted development. So I would say on 90%, if I had to throw a number out of houses, it's absolutely fine. If you start doing ground mount installations, there's certain ground mounts that aren't permanent structures. They do a 3x3 square meters. Anything over that, you need planning. We've never done a system that's less than 3x3 meters. That would be like 4 panels. So if it's ground mount, chances are you will need planning. If it's anything grade 1, grade 2 listed, there's a bit of a longer process. It's not impossible.
So ground mounts like the ones what you see in the fields.
Yeah, so we do not just the large scale ones, but say, for example, on a farm, they've got a bit of unused land that's not making them any money. We can build a custom built sort of area for their own mini power station. If the roof is, if the house is listed, quite often there'll be a curtilage around the property.
Yeah.
So basically there's an invisible line that you can't see. And here you could put solar and here you can't.
Yeah.
So it's also if you can see it from the road. So we're doing a job at the moment just outside Newark. They're doing half an in-roof system on a garage that's away from the house that's got curtilage.
Okay.
And then they're doing a ground mount system as well. So you can get pretty creative to get around the planning. Just be prepared to wait a little bit more time and spend a little bit more money.
Yeah. So yeah, same way any planning permission is always going to take that maybe a couple of months into just to go over,
Yeah.
get everything all ticked off.
Yeah, I would say that if you have a chat to your installer, they might already know someone, have some experience in the planning.
Yeah.
I find that customers doing their own planning, it can be quite laborious and expensive, and you'll quite often make mistakes that maybe an expert wouldn't.
Yeah.
And you'll be a year down the line, you've spent a few grand and you haven't even got the answers. I see it too much. So
Yeah, leave the experts to do it then, basically.
I would.
Yeah. So it's in the value of the service they're going to offer you to let them do everything for you, basically.
Yeah, well, they've got the experience,
Exactly.
and I find, I reckon half the people in solar don't get solar just because of the misinformation out there and people not handling the process from start to finish.
Yeah.
It's actually a really easy system. Nothing changes in the house.
That's
You
it.
just produce your own power. But the point from I want to find out some information, actually get it installed,
Yeah.
is key for things like that. It can be a real roadblock for some customers.
Absolutely. And this is what obviously the show is all about, is just like informing the consumer, because there is a lot of when you're just talking in general to people, there's lots of question marks. So
Well, it's education.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, the internet's full of stuff now. Everyone can be an expert.
Yeah.
So you'll find something on there. And I get things like, this is how solar is. I get customers telling me how solar is at the moment. That article's from 2015. It's completely irrelevant to what's going on now. It's a very fast moving industry. So quite often what you're reading online is just something that may have had more views or more clicks over a period of time. So it's at the top of the page,
Yeah.
but it's not actually relevant now.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to do it is, a lot of people don't like putting their details in. They don't like getting hammered by the phone calls and the emails.
Yeah.
But if you are serious about solar, just reach out to a couple of companies. Do you know what I mean? Get the ones around, and you'll see the ones that do a proper job.
Yeah.
And that's doing everything in person, looking at your bills, understanding your goals.
That's it. So yeah, do your due diligence, but also make sure you're get the experts in and make sure you're getting the proper advice, what you need before you go ahead with solar.
And you'll be well placed to do it, Kev, because it's the future integrations.
Yeah.
A lot of people are thinking of getting an EV, thinking of getting air source, thinking of getting reverse cycle air conditioning.
Yeah.
And we always say to people, just build your own power station before you get more efficient.
Yeah.
Because there's people getting ground source and air source. They spend, let's just say, for example, 10 grand. And now their bill's 2 grand a year more. So they spend all this money to become more renewable and more energy efficient, and then spend more a month.
Yeah, on the bills. So yeah.
So no matter what we want to do to be green, if it hurts our pocket, less people are going to take it up. It doesn't make as much financial sense.
So solar's the first step, really.
I would 100% advise, and it's not just because that's what we base in, we do other services as well, but create your own power station, go heavy on the panels. Yeah, go heavy on the panels. They're the guarantee.
Yeah.
You can always retrofit extra batteries down the line.
Yeah, so many panels you can get on your roof.
100%. See what the grid says. Obviously, there is a limit. But quite often we go up against a lot of other companies quoting the 10 panel, the 12 panel, the 14 panels. They can install them very quick, but they're just looking for quick cash flow.
Yeah.
So quite often I'll see 5 quotes. They're all over the shop. You know what I mean? I know we went to one together, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Yeah. And that was a fella in your your son's football team.
We were, yeah. And I think they got so they will do like a graph to show you what the panels look like on the roof. And one of them, the panels were actually half hanging over the roof. They weren't attached to the roof. And so these are the sort of surveys what you're coming up against, weren't it?
Well, they look great on day one, like the price is cheaper.
Yeah.
But I mean, the system,
It's not ever going to
it
work.
won't even work.
Yeah.
So like you're going to get there on the day. Oh, now that we've actually surveyed it.
It's like a phone quote with the boilers.
Yeah.
There's too many chances that there's going to be something wrong.
Well, when they've done half the work on the day and they tell you, oh, it's going to be another couple of grand, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So we hate the name that brings in the industry.
Yeah. It's the same with all trade. We always try and get somebody who's going to try and fast track things, and you're not going to get the service that you need, and you're not going to get the quality on the back end either.
It's true. Like the panels cost the same no matter where you put them.
Yeah.
But can you get the best return on investment? We find that we're quite often higher on day one. But that's because, we've got the support behind the scenes to help you every step of the way.
Yeah.
By spending that little bit more on day one, you actually save far more down the line. There's lots of customers out there, and this is probably a big point that I think is one of the main problems in the industry, is that people are getting the systems put in, but they're not getting help being put on the export tariffs. So I see customers' systems sitting there for 5 years. where they're not even getting paid from the grid. So they're losing like half of their profits
Wow. Yeah.
just because they've had an electrician that bangs it in,
Yeah.
but doesn't actually understand how solar works. They just know how to install it, and they get their money on day one. And then the aftercare and the service, they don't see the return on that.
Yeah. So it's got to be supply, install, and maintain.
Yeah, well, just like, help the customer get on the right tariff at least.
Yeah.
Because tariffs change. So we do a monthly newsletter now where we update all our past and present customers just to have an idea of what's changing in the market.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even though I know, 9 times out of 10, I'll know the different tariffs in the market, but quite often I'll get a customer that surprises me. I'm on this tariff and I'm like, what? I've never heard of that tariff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like 108 energy companies out there
Yeah.
changing their tariffs every month. It's not the easiest thing to wrap your
Yeah,
head
you
around.
can't keep up with that, can you? So it's best off obviously getting that expert advice. So before we move on to the next question, just wanted to introduce the next video. We're keeping up with KJ. So it was recently my youngest daughter's birthday. So I had a day off work, so did my wife, and
One of the rare ones.
we took her out for the day. It took us till dinner time to actually get out because obviously the phone would start ringing.
Yeah.
So,
Not a bad sign, Kev.
yeah, so only issues what I could sort out as well. So yeah, oh well, it's just the way it goes. So just enjoy this video and we'll pick up from there.
Awesome.
So we are now finally just on his way out. It's June's birthday. We're supposed to go out and be out there 11. It's off at 11 and we're just leaving the house. We've had the joys of obviously working for yourself. We had to deal with a couple of customer situations this morning where the manufacturers basically not done their side of the job, their side of the deal. So these are things we have to deal with. It's very difficult to plan sometimes. So we're going to try and make the most of what's left of Journey's birthday.
Right, so yeah, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the video. So on to the next question is, on average, how long does solar take to install? I'm guessing that's going to depend on the size of the property.
Yeah, so it's quite funny, isn't it? Like a lot of these questions, like we get it all the time.
Yeah.
We just get these like, I want an answer, about what it is. But again, if I can't see the property,
Yeah.
we've got an install going in at the moment that's going to take 2 weeks. It's a large commercial one. Yeah. We've got most of our domestic installs we do in a day, to be fair.
So that would be like, say, your average semi or detached 3 to 4 bedroom property, would you say?
Yeah, like you've got 1 or 2 roofs and you've got an external electric meter, much easier. So the scaffold will normally go up within 72 hours of the job. We leave the scaffolding up a week after the job just to make sure we do our tests, everything's working correctly. No one likes paying for scaffold twice.
So I expect for scaffold to be around your property for a good week or 10 days then?
Yeah, we say 2 weeks to be safe. Scaffolders are a bit of a law to their own. So they often leave it up there and then pick it up when we've got a job in the area. So they'll often group them together.
Yeah.
But if you've got the scaffolding up, it's not a negative.
No.
Get the other half on the gutters, the fascias, cleaning the windows.
Yeah.
You can turn it into a positive, cleaning the roof, whatever you need to do. But I would say a standard install would be 1 to 2 days on a domestic, and then commercial, obviously, there's a much wider range of install types and sizes.
Brilliant. Okay. So also, another big question, which I know you'll get very often because we get this in the boiler industry an awful lot. Is there any grants for solar?
Yeah. It's one of the parts I like least about the industry. After working for Project Solar, they would be government grants in your area, free solar. There's a lot of marketing with that. You go down the funnel, all of a sudden you don't qualify. You're not missing a leg. You're not on benefits. You don't have 4 kids, so...
Got free?
Yeah, you got the free, yeah. You got both your legs, though, Kev.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
But,
I pay my way.
yeah. But yeah, I find in commercial and domestic, a lot of people go down the rabbit hole. Some people do get it, so I'm not saying don't try and get them. If you can get them, brilliant. I just do find that the process, by the time you've got it, quite often the amount that you've spent
To get there.
quite often negates the actual grant in the first place. We all want something for nothing in today's day and age, don't we?
Yeah.
So I understand why, but I am very skeptical about it. Eco 4 is probably the best system with that. If you're on a low income household, under 30 grand combined earnings, Maybe you've got a disabled person in the family. Like I've got a disabled sister in Australia, so my parents did qualify for a grant in Australia. I'll check with your local council. I mean, you guys only have about 500 local councils over here, so it makes it quite hard to keep up with all 500's budget of what they're doing. Yeah, so I would say that it's a rabbit hole worth exploring, but don't spend too much time on it. If you're getting no,
Yeah.
chances are it's probably a no.
Yeah. With the boiler industry and everything like the heat pumps, it's well advertised when there's any sort of commercial or any benefits. So, and I've not heard anything with solar. So I was interested myself after looking into it myself and not seeing anything. So
The incentives are so good now. Like quite often on a monthly payment, and everyone's like, "Oh, I don't like doing finance. Yeah, I don't like doing finance for solar." But you already got a lifetime finance agreement out with your energy company.
Yeah.
With no control, there is no payback time.
or your mortgage finance.
Yeah,
So
and we'd much rather buy a house than rent a house because nothing's really going to change for the short term. If you have to throw some money into getting your own power station, like I said, you get it all back on day one with the increase in the house prices.
Yeah.
There's a huge market for people wanting to buy houses with their own power station.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do all the work for them and they've got long warranties on the system and you sell it in 2-3 years,
Yeah.
like you're going to reap the benefits whichever way you look. And I'd say that's a really good way to look at it. If you are looking into solar and you can see that you've got a roof there, not the ones that have 3 chimneys, 6 dormer windows and 2 skylights, not those ones, but you might have some land out the back that you're not using.
Yeah, absolutely. So create your own power station.
100%.
Get solar.
Yeah, it's the way forward. Everyone's going to do it. It's not a case of if, it's when.
Get rid of the bills.
Yeah, 100%.
No, fantastic. Right. So I did it was the end of the week, a long day. So this video's me starting off the day in the gym and then ending it all the way down in Southampton, which is a 190-mile drive for my son to play football. So the first
He's in, isn't he? Is he in which academy is he in?
He basically got opportunities he plays for a local coach and he gets opportunities. So they got the opportunity to go down to Southampton.
Oh, wow.
Play, which obviously is a long way, but you're not going to deprive a
We both played football. We played football growing up. We'd love to have done that.
So it was great to go down to Southampton's academy, and just like we only spent a few hours there. It was very strict on the rules. Like Arsenal and Southampton were playing under 18s game. We weren't allowed to peer and have a look, or take photos or anything. It was really strict. So I can imagine these
well, there's money. There's big money in that.
Yeah, these football clubs are worth a lot of money, aren't they? So there's a lot involved. So yeah, the facilities there were fantastic and
I really had a great time.
Experience. Yeah, and he did well as well. So we're very proud of him, of course, as we always are.
Oh, awesome.
No, but yeah, it was a very long day, and the drive home the day after, obviously
not much traffic in the UK, is there?
No, just nice 5-hour drive home, and now I think I got like glass eyes basically.
Yeah.
I was shattered. So, but yeah, so the video is just about obviously the day in process. I'm very red-eyed by 5-6 o'clock, but this is very much part of the industry I'm used to. We're used to long days. So the tradesmen do work extremely hard. And even though I'm not on the tools anymore, I still really put the hours in and do everything I can for the customers.
Yeah, and that's why, we like talking to each other because we've got that same customer-focused approach. But I think a lot of people, don't realise the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes. There's a difference between a decent job and a great job.
Yeah, exactly. So enjoy this video. There's a couple of clips of there, and we'll see you back in a minute. The match just finished setting up. We've got a cardio session here in the gym. Here we go. Hope you enjoy that session. Late lunch, making progress with the leads and everything. Just doing as much as I can. Loving it. It's nice and quiet, which is a lot better compared to having to run around after 4 dogs at home. So yes, I can see this being really good for me. So we're looking to adapt the brochures as well. So these are for the gas boilers. We're going to want to have something similar for the solar brand for the aircon. I need to just speak to the manufacturers to get some images, appliances.
should be good to go. So I'm back home now. Been to pick the kids up from school. Charlotte's feeling a bit under the weather, so I've done the pick up. I'm just going to do the last bit of finishing off, probably about an hour's worth of admin, just finish off the week, all the invoices, etc. That's that tiredness kicking in. Can't even find my words. Ready for got to get us some tea. Loxley's got football training. And then we've got a 3.5 hour drive, 190 mile drive down to Southampton, ready for his game in the morning. So, plenty of the day to go yet. As you can probably hear in the background, it's all chaotic. It's tea time for the dogs. So yeah, it's all go, but this is what it is. So we've just filled up petrol station, Loxley's finished football training. We are off to Southampton. So yeah, we're going to need to get a move on. It is
Can I just say
20 to 8.
that I'm not very well and I can't eat a lot of food, but you've just brought my favourite thing. I've just spotted it in your hand. I'm fuming.
It's white. It's white chocolate though. You don't like the white chocolate one?
I like all cream eggs.
Oh, I'll throw out, wouldn't
Live it.
you eat plenty when you're
Live
better.
it.
So Charlotte can't currently eat because of her illness at the minute. It just makes her ill, so makes her sick. So she's on a liquid diet.
Yeah.
Why I'm eating all the cream eggs. So we made it. We're in Southampton now. Just got Loxley into bed, and we are going to go to bed ourselves. So it's been a long day. It's 20 to 12, so we haven't done too bad. Over and out.
So on a Sunday, I'm the wife, because we both enjoy going, take Loxley to football, and he plays for his local side, and we take the girls with us as well. And then, as obviously a counteract, I take the girls swimming afterwards. Well, last week, Charlotte took Loxley to the shops, the weekly shop, and they've dropped me off for swimming. We've got in there, we've got everything changed, and Charlotte packed the bag, and I've not checked it. And I'm like, Hendrix is like, where's my armbands? I was like, no, straight away, they're not in there. And she's gone, they're not in there. You don't need them. You're all right. Well, Waterworks come straight away. I can't. I need to do them. I need my armbands. So I'm like, okay. Says, we've got two options after the debate is saying, you don't need them. You don't need them. You know, I'll hold you and all that. You can swim because you can swim. She just uses them like a,
The confidence.
Yeah, it's a confidence thing. So we're going nowhere after about 5 minutes. And then basically, I've gone, look, we either get changed, I'll have to go downstairs and get some armbands, or we're going to go with no armbands. She's ain't on it. Every option is a no. She's crying. Everyone's looking at me.
It is at bedtime.
Yeah. Well, it's not even bedtime.
Yeah, I know.
It's dinner time by this stage. And luckily, some guy took sympathy on me, called James. I didn't catch his surname, so if he ever watches this, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, James.
Yeah. And he was just obviously going to his gym session. And he was like, look, I've been in your shoes before. How can I help? I says, if you can go down to reception and get me some armbands, that'd be mint. Well, he came back about 10 minutes later with these armbands. So girls are happy. Brilliant. Got down to the swimming pool. Obviously, in my haste with the two girls, I didn't see the big sign. The heaters were broke in the pool. So I've gone to get in the pool. And do you know like when you go into the sea and you put your first foot in, you think, oh, no, that's too cold. I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
It was like that. I've got in and I thought, oh, no, it's freezing. So swimming pool was freezing cold.
So did they get in?
Oh, yeah, they got in. And they were being brave, or like swimming around, being like, we've got to be as energetic as we can because we get cold really quick.
Yeah.
So
Quick like hypothermia for the afternoon.
it took a lot of effort to get into this pool, so we're going to make most of it. After about 10 minutes, the lips are starting to go blue. So we had to get out and go. So yeah, so we did all that effort.
Like you've got some good heating at home, I reckon.
Yeah, for 10 minutes swimming. Oh yeah, we've got home. Heating's on.
Yeah.
Heating's on. 24 degrees, of course.
Just a quick question for you, Kev. Because I get people that ask me this question. Putting your clothes on your heaters at home, is that a good idea or a bad idea?
You're stopping the heat getting out, aren't you? So yeah, it's a bad idea, really.
Does it create mold in your house? It's got to evaporate somewhere.
Yeah, I guess it could. So it depends if you're living in an older property or it's not ventilated well, then yeah, definitely create mold. Yeah, there's a big thing on that. And I do know somebody who's obviously did the course with us, who's a specialist in mold.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know the fella's name, but
Yeah, well, I'm sure we can catch up with him. But yeah, if anybody obviously wanted to take that any further on how to help on mold, I'm sure we can.
It's definitely a question in the UK. I mean, obviously, you guys, your winters are relatively long.
Yeah, very long. And then and then it's awful cold. And lots of houses out there with no cavity, so they don't, the houses don't breathe, and you get the mold. And
Especially around Nottingham,
yeah,
like the old Victorian houses. That
yeah, the
you
old
go to.
Victorian houses, a lot of pit houses as well, and they're all just put up. They were great solid
Got a
houses.
fireplace.
Yeah, solid houses, but they don't. They're not efficient homes.
No,
No, and like I say, in mold is a part of that. I actually own one. Yeah, and
we did in our old house.
well,
Not now. Luckily, we've got ventilation.
yeah, the main way we used to get around there is like I was cracking the windows in the morning, always helps. And obviously getting dehumidifier, you can pick a dehumidifier up for as cheap as like £30 now. So it's just a matter. It's an
How
inconvenience.
places do they fill up?
Yeah, they fill up daily. Our eggs are half a day. You just have to empty it.
I know. I couldn't believe it in our old house.
Yeah, how much water's in there. So obviously, that's not good for your health either, is it? It's just it's not to the point when you start seeing the black. It's before then. The moisture, it's just not good for the human body, is it?
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
Oh,
I mean, it also goes on to the solar to a degree. Like, there's companies out there that don't put pigeon proofing on. A lot of companies out there say they do pigeon proofing and then don't do pigeon proofing. And people are getting sick. People are getting sick from the pigeon droppings. Yeah, I've seen it a few times. Some of the roofs, the state of roofs after 10 years, like, yeah.
yeah. So you need to put these like say pigeon bird protectors around.
Do it as standard. It's like, it's so cheap to do while doing an install.
Yeah, so just get it done.
Yeah, if you've got to retrofit the install and you're paying another $1,000 for scaffold and, the customer's not happy, it'll put a bit of strain on your business model.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, to get it all done it properly at the start.
Yeah.
So yeah, so obviously, enjoy the video of us doing Gogglebox as well. So it's a interesting one.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that, Kev.
Yeah. I think this was me watching it by the end, to be honest. I think Charlotte gives up and she's just like watching something on her phone after about 5 minutes.
Oh, that doesn't happen much nowadays, does it? And the old phone, the old double screen combo. Don't watch either.
I've got a slight hearing issue, so I have to have TV on quite loud.
Got your beats on?
Oh, just can't hear it. I'm just watching the screen.
Lip reading.
Lip reading. Kids are just having a good time. Dogs are just enjoying themselves. So that's one thing with a new home as well. Do you know, like, we've got many people in our home, we don't really have to have the heating on.
Yeah.
Because it just heats up.
Friction of the air with everyone running around.
Yeah, it just heats up on its own.
That's a convection heater.
Yeah. So very often our house is like 24 degrees. So,
Oh, my missus would love that. We're constantly having the heat battles.
yeah.
I don't like going to bed feeling like I've been in a sauna.
Yeah, thermostat walls. It's a real thing. It is a
I think everyone can testify to that.
Yeah,
Not to
100%.
make a sweeping statement, but generally, I think the guys are happy to have it colder and the women are happy to have it higher. I'd say that's a generalisation. It's not always the case,
It's not always the case, 100%.
but I'd say it's probably that sort of 75%.
Yeah, it is yeah, I'd say that's probably about right. It's often
It is in my house anyway, that way.
often on our surveys it comes up, and it's like the guy will have a trunk chunter about, or don't give her an opportunity to be able to turn the heating on and all this, and can have a good bit of fun with it. But it is, I think as an average, it's hot and cold. Obviously, two different people. You can both probably have different, where you like your heat. So there's no right or wrong. The average, the same between 19 and 21, but there's no right or wrong answer as long as you're keeping warm.
And you got to keep it consistent, don't you? And I think we get a lot of feedback in solar that people are just, one of our first ever customers when we went out on our own from Project Solar, he's actually just come into the business now.
Right.
So he's seen the results over the last 18 months. And he just said one of his things was he just loves the idea of being able to use his heating in the winter from the credits that he's accumulated in the summer.
Yeah.
So he doesn't feel guilty at all about putting the heating on.
Yeah, don't have to worry about putting the central heating on.
Yeah.
Which probably stops half the argument from the guys, doesn't it?
Well, like when you produce your own power,
Yeah.
you don't worry about
You're not going to worry about the bill.
Yeah, because you've got that energy security. Like nowadays, if the bill goes up 300% again, and like if I was sitting in a pub with you, Kev, 3 years ago, and you knew what my job was, I told you the bills are going to go up 300%. Most people would have just looked at you and gone, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing. But then it did. And what's to stop it happening again?
There's nothing stopping it. Same with, like, obviously with the gas as well. I know you said that we're expecting that to gradually rise.
I don't have the crystal ball, but I reckon it will.
Yeah, and like say, if your gas boiler is 10 years or over, it won't be efficient like it once was. So get us involved. We'll fit you a new boiler, get all your system all energy efficient. We can do obviously heat pumps as well. So, let's get your house efficient and save you them bills, because them monthly bills on energy aren't going away. We all know that.
No, just use that money, reinvest it in smarter technology. Like, it's a fast moving sector and everyone's ready for this next big thing. Everyone asks me about hydrogen. Oh, what do you think about hydrogen? Well, the money, you got to follow the money. You're not going to spend all this money over the last decade turning the whole world electric to just move on from electric.
No.
Like, it's going to be around for the next 20, 30 years, whether we like it or not. I have my doubts on electric cars, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
The infrastructure is not there, although it is coming. I know, like you, Kev, sometimes we're late to our appointments, mate, because we're doing so many things.
Yeah.
Can't just charge up for 2 hours or 30 to 40 minutes. So the reality is a lot of people don't drive the miles that we drive, though.
No. I'm quite fortunate. I don't have to drive too much, so I do have an actual EV. But I stay fairly local, so the range on my car is just over 200 because it's winter. Don't get that. It's about 150. So the vehicle's fantastic, and I'm obviously can charge it free through the solar with the EV and obviously battery charging. It's
Well, that makes more sense for you.
yeah,
And that's why you need someone to come and have a look.
yeah,
Like, in
exactly.
your case, makes sense. I'm doing 1,000 miles a week.
Yeah.
We got 3 offices. Like, it just won't work for me.
Yeah, it's horses for courses again, isn't it? Like I say, if you're doing a lot of miles, EVs aren't going to be for you. But if you aren't doing many miles, maybe you just work locally, or you don't travel far, then because you can still, even if you are traveling far, you've got an EV, you can just plan that journey, give yourself a bit more time.
But you're going to stop anyway.
Yeah, you got to stop. You know,
Just
stop
if
the
it's long and you got
lunches.
kids and stuff.
Yeah,
I need a
to eat or drink.
dog in the back.
Yeah. So
Just on the batteries, actually, quite interesting. I think this is the easiest analogy we give to customers. We see a lot of companies out there banging batteries in outside. Much easier to install, but you will get a reduced performance in the winter.
Yeah.
And as you know, from having an EV, batteries don't like the cold. Everyone's expecting them to burst into flames. It's actually the other way around. You get a far worse performance with them being outside, unless you buy the models that have inbuilt heaters. So you've got Tesla, you've got Sig Energy, you've got EcoFlow. I believe the new Fox battery also has inbuilt heater. They've got lots of different range of specs on there, but I think it's a little bit counterproductive, if you ask me, to use your battery to charge itself, to heat itself, to then discharge in your house.
Yeah.
So you're better off just trying to find an enclosure somewhere or building one out there.
Yeah.
Because you really want to use that battery for powering your house, not powering the battery.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, charging itself, keeping itself warm. It's if you can put it somewhere where it's going to keep warm anyway, then better.
Yeah, I think we built custom-made boxes, which have ventilation for the inverter, insulation for the battery, and I think a lot of customers, they will have problems down the line with them being exposed to the elements. Might not be at the start, but I think customer safety is a really important part. But also, like, the return on investment. Like, at the end of the day, it's got to be safe, but it also has to give them a good return.
I, for one, obviously, I will be getting solar in the very near future. Can't wait to get it done. I can't wait to not.
That's the best.
My energy bill's 500 and something a month, and I can't wait to get rid of that.
Yeah. Well, your returns will be a lot quicker.
Yeah.
It was like Andy's, the fellow that we went around and saw.
Yeah.
High bills. High bills,
right?
Yeah. Like, you'll see it in a totally different way. If you've got high bills out there, perfect. Best possible thing you can look into, because, you're literally going to spend the money anyway. So you might as well get it back.
Yeah. Spend the money wisely.
Yeah.
Rather than just wave it goodbye. Because you're literally just opening the window when you're on a drive with money, throwing the money out the window, aren't you?
Well, it's like, nowadays quite often it's cheaper to rent a house. Cheaper to buy a house than it is to rent a house.
Yeah.
It's the same in solar. You know what I mean? Like, you're spending a lot of money on gas and electricity, and we are the first generation to be able to produce it ourselves.
Yeah.
So you're going to be the first person in your family, most likely, who's done it.
Yeah.
So you've got a really, really important role to not only help yourself, but educate the next generation. It's not that scary out there. What I mean? It's really easy. Nothing changes. The power from the roof or the ground, wherever you've got it, just goes back into your mains meter, and then it powers your house. It is really simple.
As a country, we really do need to start pushing energy, and obviously, I think you start to see bits of it in the government. David Attenborough did a good documentary, which was quite eye-opening the other year, which
We
just
did,
really
yeah.
shows the effect of why we're destroying the planet, and not basically we just need to be kinder and
More self-sufficient.
self-sufficient, and solar is one of the ways of doing that.
It comes down to recycling, really. Like,
Yeah.
you might not think solar is recycling, but you're just recycling what's already there.
Yeah.
The sun's already there, and the daylight as well. I know we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
It's already there. Like, how much is your roof making you at the moment?
Nothing. Yeah, just keeping you dry. That's it. So let's utilise it.
Business space.
Yeah, absolutely. So this part of the show is going to be the giveaway. So we've got some KJ mugs, KJ group. So way to win these is just by basically sending your questions in to us, and if we read them out on the show, we'll then send you a mug. We haven't got no winners from the last one because we've filmed this second one before we've put the first one out. So we will, on the third episode, get all your hats from the first episode and the mugs from this episode out to you. The podcast challenge today has already been done, so it's basically a bit of DIY with your partner, which I'm sure you agree is always interesting.
Yeah, a couple of discussions here or there.
Yeah. So this is me and my wife basically putting up some blinds, what the dog had at. So as you can imagine, I went in the greatest of moves that mine to replace blinds for probably, I think, the third time, because this dog, his puppy, keeps eating them. So it actually goes quite well.
Does it?
I'm a bit disappointed, really.
All right, yeah. You set the scene there. I'm just in my house.
And normally it's a nightmare, but doing DIY into it with the partner.
Well, funnily enough, I don't have many mechanical skills. So it's my girlfriend that does more of the handiwork around the house. She's she loves it. So we have the opposite problem in our house. She's yelling at me. I'm the labourer. I'm the labourer for the day.
Magic, brilliant, sounds good. So yeah, this is a video of me and Shah putting up some blinds in our family home.
Oh, nice.
Excuse the singing in the background. I think the kids were just enjoying themselves, and that's why we just like, right, it's a good time to do it. Let's do it now. The kids are all entertaining themselves upstairs.
Yeah.
So normally takes about 2 minutes for one of the kids want to get involved, or one of the dogs want to get involved, which is normally a challenge as well.
Yeah, I can imagine, mate.
Yeah. Enjoy this, and then please send in your videos as well. We'd love to see them. Hi, so it's KJ. So our challenge today is DIY with your partner. Let's see how this goes. The reason why we're doing this bit of DIY is because anybody who knows us, we have beagles. This little one here,
Naughty.
very naughty, is eating the blind. Twice. So we're number 3, blind number 3. So, happy days, job done. And that's it, job done. Okay, so yeah, enjoyed our efforts there. This next section is basically true and false. True or false, should I say. So, Kieran's going to answer these questions for me, and I'm going to put them across to him. So,
Far away.
do solar panels need bright sunshine in order to work?
No, they don't. They do work better on a clear winter's day, actually.
Okay.
It's actually the best generation. It tends to be a lot clearer. There's no haze like there is in the summer. Fog's the worst thing that you can have. But yeah, I still get quite good generation on the cloudy, rainy days.
Even like January is a classic sort of sun's up.
Worst month of the year, no denying it.
Yeah, it's freezing cold.
Yeah.
But obviously they'll still generate good energy, obviously because of the clear skies.
Yeah, I think everyone gets a bit sceptical speaking to an Australian who's selling sun in the UK. But it's just different, isn't it? You know, you've got the summer, which is much better. The best day in Australia is better than the best day in the UK because it's 4 a.m. to 11 p.m., for example, depends where you are in the UK.
Yeah.
So you get lots of solar generation in the summer. So you just got to leverage that excess energy in the summer to act as like a second battery for your house. You've got a battery that stores it, instantaneously for your nighttime usage or your peak usage. But then you get a second battery, which is your credit in your energy account.
Right. Fantastic. So, also, true or false, is solar energy expensive to produce?
Not compared to renting it, as we've covered. You're looking at well, it went up to about 57p in the energy crisis per kilowatt. The government was paying half of all domestic and commercial bills.
Right.
So, after COVID and Brexit and paying all the energy bills, I'm not sure where the money comes from, to be honest. But solar, you're looking at about 6 to 8p a kilowatt over the lifetime of the system is quite normal.
Okay.
So, what's it going to be in 10, 20 years per kilowatt?
I do know that it's 60% cheaper than it were back in 2010 as well. So obviously the technology has moved on a long ways. So it's not as like they've designed some panels and everything. That's it. The technology is constantly moving on and getting better.
You can get more power in the smaller space.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We all want something that's smaller and more powerful. So like the batteries, when I first started in 2017, I mean, we were probably doing the other side of probably 5 to 10% had batteries. Big, massive lumps of things, like the old computers.
Yeah.
The old mobile phones. You look at that thing, like we sold this Duracell battery, mate. Absolutely massive as a 3 kilowatt. We're doing like the same size as that battery now would probably be a 20 kilowatt.
Right. Okay.
So it gives you an idea of, the quality. I mean, a 3 kilowatt battery back then was actually quite good because we used a lot more gas and oil and LPG and other sources.
Yeah.
A lot more log burning fires. Obviously now they're getting restricted. So everything's going electric.
Yeah. Everything's leading that way into it. We are definitely being guided that way. With the gas, we obviously went over what the government's trying to do with gas boilers and oil.
When is that coming in, Kev? When is it? Is it 2028? I know it got pushed back in 2025.
For new builds, it's supposed to be 2025. And then
That's pretty close.
yeah, it's as close as in now. And then basically they are going to phase out gas boilers and oil boilers by 2035.
All right.
But the guidelines will probably change, I imagine.
I know they've changed like 3 times.
Yeah. And all it will mean is that when your boiler actually breaks after 2035, you'll just have to change it with something renewable, which will be heat pumps, air source and solar, etc. So why not start the changeover now?
Yeah.
Already that's
Get it all paid off.
yeah.
So then when that natural jump happens, like I think what's actually going to happen in the UK is as more and more people produce their own energy, less people are going to be reliant on the grid.
Yeah.
And if they've got less customers, they're going to have to make more per customer. So I think we'll naturally get a squeeze from them making the money off their gas and oil that they've been losing out on, and less customer base. I mean, it is a little bit dodgy, isn't it, now that all the energy companies sell solar panels? They're going to make money off you regardless. You might as well go with an independent company that actually has your best interest in heart.
Yeah.
We're not just selling you something cheap to rinse you on something else.
Am I right in thinking, obviously, these big companies are sometimes charging people a bit less than they probably should be, but then the exporting tariffs, they're then losing out in the long run without them realising?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you might not have a higher standing charge. You might have unfavourable rates. Like quite often, like companies like, I know Good Energy are partnered with another company. I know Eon, EDF. A lot of them do these really nice year one incentives.
Yeah.
Look really good on the tin, lock you in. It's a bit like Sky, BP.
Yeah.
We all sign up to these amazing 6 to 12 month deals. And then we just can't be bothered to go through the paperwork because we've got, 100 in every house now and all these subscriptions.
And the classic is with the internet is basically that every March your bill will go up.
Yeah. Inflation linked.
Yeah.
It's inflation linked anyway.
Yeah. And even though you've agreed a price, you'll get that price for like the first year, and then every year it will go up. There's a lot of people, they take it, and like a lot of people just don't like swapping, don't like change, so they'll just stick with it. So before you know it, you're paying over odds. You've had 1 year free, but you probably paid it all back in second year. So
it's just front loaded.
Yeah,
front loaded discounts.
Yeah, and these really big companies are very clever and good at doing this.
Well, another naughty thing that I think a lot of people in our customer base don't like is in the COVID times, in particular. When you couldn't switch energy company?
Yes.
A lot of these companies had millions in people's accounts.
Yeah.
That they were hedging. So say, everyone's like, I've got a lot of credit in my account. Everyone's very proud of the credit they have in their account.
Yeah.
It's just in their bank account, not yours.
Yeah.
It's not credit.
Yeah.
It's your money.
Not credit, yeah. You could be making money off.
Yeah, why don't you keep that 300-400 quid in your bank? Like, the way that they bill you the months before you even use the energy, you know, these smart meters, God, I mean, you get some hoo-ha about them.
They're playing like a bank, aren't they, basically?
Yeah. So,
They hold your money and make money off your money. They're doing the same thing.
yeah, so I just think, like I said, I'm born off grid. I love the game. I love the game of getting something that's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just take the power back in your hands. You know, don't be scared to do it. You know, it's not a scary process.
No.
You just need to do your research on the company, have a look at their reviews, you know, make sure that they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. You can always get guidance off, obviously, experts like us as well. So
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, quite often a lot of people you'll know have got solar now. That's the difference. When I first started, you're selling the future.
Yeah.
Now the future's already here, and that only happened in 8 years.
yeah,
It's
it's definitely coming. One question what we do get quite regular is, would I be able to sell my house if we have solar panels on the roof?
So it's a good question. As per usual, mate, I'll do a couple of answers here.
Yeah.
If you speak to 2 real estate agents, one will tell you it devalues the house, one will tell you it increases the house value, and they're both right.
Right.
So what will often happen is they've had these rent your roof schemes. The customer doesn't actually own the roof. The company's gone bust. System's not working. Absolute nightmare to sort out. And, you know, panels look horrific. Yeah, you can have the house, but you just don't own the roof. Is that all sweet? You know, and like, you're probably not even going to do anything with the roof. But just the idea that you're buying, I don't know, 90% of the house, but you don't own the roof, like it's quite off-putting and put me off.
Yeah, you're not probably getting a mortgage either. I can imagine you
Well,
problems getting a mortgage.
It's not so much problem getting the mortgage. It's just like a lady that we did the other week. Like, she's paid to get rid of the solar panels.
Yeah.
So you don't want to inherit a problem, do you?
No, of course not. No.
So that might be a problem. So that's why, you know, you'll get a real estate agent that goes, oh, solar definitely doesn't increase house value. And in his or her case, they are right. But then you've got the other side of the coin where, you know, you sell your house in 2-3 years. It's got a 30-year warranty on the panels. You know, might have 15-year warranty on the battery and the inverter. Person moving in's got 12 years of guaranteed battery and inverter, another 27 years of guaranteed power from the panels.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of money.
It is.
You know, you bring a family in there. I mean, you know, Kev, kids equal energy.
Yeah.
How many
equal
times does your washing machine go a day, mate?
Oh, it's on all day.
Yeah.
Especially the weekends, don't stop.
So yeah, the returns are based on, you know, what type of system you have. And also, if there's 3 houses for sale in the area and yours is the only one that's self-sufficient, there are people, that's why people are paying over the odds for these new build homes.
Yeah. People are aware of obviously the advantages of having solar now as well, aren't they? So yeah, it definitely adds value to your property.
Also, people don't want to make the wrong decision. So if it's already there for them,
Yeah.
it's easy for them to decide.
Yeah. It's like going into a house with a new boiler, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we flipped a fair few houses over the time through social housing. And it's great. We're getting these, in particular, bungalows that are maybe E-rated on the EPC. We're turning them from E to A. We're getting about 14 to 18% return on investment on the house value going up because now the bills are cheaper.
Yeah.
And they can sell the house for more money. And the person moving in has less bills to pay.
Yeah. Everybody wins.
So, you know, the same as my last house, did exactly the same thing. People are willing to pay above the odds to have a long-term energy solution.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much, Kieran, for your questions.
No dramas, mate.
Very knowledgeable. So I hope that's been a massive help. Please contact the show. You know, just write in or comment, should I say, really, on our socials and on YouTube, and let us know what you think. Obviously, if you have any more questions as well, we'll be quite happy to answer them, and we'll obviously answer them in the future. Want to obviously say thank you to everyone for Kieran coming down and
Yeah, no dramas. I enjoy it, mate. It's good educating everyone, isn't it, mate?
and the team for obviously taking the time to film this for us and set it all up and edit everything for us. So just to finish off, I've got a few fun questions for Kieran.
Go on then, mate. Hit me.
No, they're not too deep, mate. Don't worry.
Okay.
So what do you do in your spare time when you're not selling solar?
Do you know what, mate? I've got a couple of hobbies or addictions, as my girlfriend likes to call them. I like watching Australian rugby league. I do a lot of fantasy sports. Well, I say I do a lot of fantasy sports. I spend a lot of time on that one. So they're quite often at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. And as you know, we like getting up early.
Yeah.
Nice and quiet then. Nothing going on. You know, I like watching sport, playing football, going to the gym. But like you, Kev, you know, we're just so committed to the business now.
Yeah.
I don't get as much time as I used to. So lucky I had a good 20s. got it all out then.
I did it in the 30s as well.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm just trying to hang on.
Yeah.
Basically, I did a lot of traveling and a lot of partying, mate, in my 20s.
So, yeah, so good experiences there.
Yeah.
All right, and so you got a driver's license, as I know. I've seen you drive here.
Yeah, it depends who's asking, mate. No, I do.
Yeah. What were your first car?
My first car, that's a good one. It was actually a Ford Laser
Laser.
in Australia. Yeah, I don't know if they have.
heard of Laser.
I don't know if they have them here. Well, Vauxhall in Australia is Holden.
Okay.
So, like, I don't think a lot of the models are transferable. But
We're going to have to get a photo of that Laser and we'll put it on the show.
yeah, it's probably TX3. That's it. I was trying to remember. TX3
Right,
Ford
well,
Laser.
I know my cars.
Yeah.
Too bad with the cars, and yeah, I've never heard of that.
We call it kangaroo hopping in Australia. I don't know what you call it here, but you know when you first start learning a manual.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
So for me,
Yeah, what did you have?
my first car, it was a D-Reg Fiesta. I think.
Well, we both had a Ford.
Yeah, both Ford. It's just cheap and cheerful. It's a great car.
Yeah.
Reliable. And then if it did break, it cost you about 50 quid to fix. I could probably run faster than mine though. It went very quick.
Yeah. Do you remember when you had the sound system in? You know, we had the Dolby Digital in those bad boys.
Well, yeah, it was the age where you used to have to take the CD cover off. You just take it out.
Immobilize it.
Yeah, otherwise it got nicked. Basically, yeah. There you are. Look, well, it was a blue one. That one, yeah. There you go. Look at that machine.
Wow, that looks something off.
I have heard it's going to be on the next Fast and Furious. That one.
Yeah. Or maybe the in-betweeners, mate.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah,
Maybe the next in-betweeners. Jay would love that.
yeah. Well, one of doors missing. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's literally equivalent to what they used it in between us, I think. So yeah, got some great memories of that car. To be fair,
Yeah, I can imagine, mate. Especially back then, mate, that was the be and end all of your independence.
bump starting it, getting it going. Mine were D-Reg though. That's F. That's a new one.
Oh, is it, mate?
Yeah. So also, next question: what is the worst Christmas present you've ever received?
So you know what? One of my mates stitched me up, and I know this might not be this is quite an interesting one. So he sponsored a child in Africa. He got me a sponsorship.
Oh wow.
So I had a direct debit coming out every month to do that. So I wouldn't say it's the worst present, but it's quite an interesting one.
You're helping somebody.
I'm helping someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, he signed me up on a direct debit with all my details as a
Fantastic.
Christmas present. So yeah.
All right.
I thought that would be an interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So for me, it was a long time ago, and it marries me when I first started driving. So for Christmas, my mum used to spoil us, bless her, like and she once bought me. So I'm like 17, 18. She bought me some leather driving gloves to drive that Fiesta in. So
You're like Mr. Bean or something.
yeah, so luckily they didn't fit, so I never had to wear them. But obviously it weren't something I was like bowled over by. What a bowled over by. What a
Did you have to do the face like, oh, thank you so much?
Well, I was always like, don't want to be ungrateful, but are these granddads? So yeah, so God bless her. I got some leather driving gloves for Christmas when I was about 17, 18, when I was probably more interested about where my next pint was coming from.
Yeah.
So and what pub we were going to.
You couldn't wear them in the pub because you might.
No, and I weren't going to drive to because obviously you don't drive to the pub, do you?
No.
So
mate.
so yes, they never got used. I
Yeah.
think I did attempt to try them on Christmas Day, but yeah, they never got used.
Yeah.
So that probably goes down as one of the worst presents I ever had, just because I never got to use it.
No, pointless that one, isn't it, mate?
Yeah. So, guys and girls, please share your worst Christmas presents with us, and let's see some pictures of your first vehicles as well.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so let's all have a bit of fun together, and the best ones what we see, we'll put on the next episode. So, thank you very much for tuning in again. I'd like to say thank you for Kieran coming in, and
John, it's been a pleasure, Kevin.
Kieran is
I always hear
Kieran,
you, mate.
thank you very much for sharing his knowledge. Thank you for the team for helping film the episode. So you can watch the episode on Spotify and Apple. You can also obviously contact us on all our social platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're also on YouTube. And yeah, please like, subscribe, and leave any comments you'd like.
He does great work, Kev. He's coming around to my house after this, aren't you, mate?
I am.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's good at what he does.
Yeah, doing the maintenance for you.
Yeah, 100%. We're taking it over from that other one.
Yeah, it's
Gone missing, mate.
supply, install, and maintain.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, and we will look after you moving forward. So,
Perfect.
thanks again. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
That was it for episode 2 of Keeping Up with KJ. I hope you enjoyed the content. And here, as promised, is the video of me and Shah doing a bit of singing, Prince of Bel-Air. So anybody who grew up in the 90s will know what we mean. Enjoy.
Chilling out, like no cool, shoot some people outside of school. But it's all the guys, they were so good. Trying to make it cool in the neighborhood. I got one little time on all your kids. Should have moved with your auntie and I'm going to was for a cab and went crazy. And I just said, fresh, and I died from the beer. If anything, I could say this is